Yo guys, welcome to another episode of Don't Be Afraid podcast, and I am your host Jamila Muhammad Jamil, and I have with me, as usual, fine people. I'm always in the midst of fine people. Oh god. Hey.
Flattery works. Yeah, I assume you include me in that description. Hi, Tolu Unimere.
And I'm Bella Rose Okojie.
You see for yourselves. Anyways, nice to have you all here.
Good to be
nice
here.
To have you, Bella. You look so good.
Thank you.
And you do to them.
Yeah,
it's natural. Hashtag no
afterthought.
No,
Yes.
actually,
Yeah.
men can be said to be beautiful.
Yeah, no, I get that told. I get told that a lot.
So trying to
I get
be
told
humble.
that not about me, but about other people. But I get told that a lot. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, anyway, today, Bella, we have you more like a guest here because
She's on the hot spot, on the hot seat, hot spot.
That's interesting.
Focus on you.
yeah, and we're going to be discussing tech influencing in Nigeria, and you being like a major figure in the tech space would like want to take from your knowledge and anyway, you shall understand.
I totally, absolutely.
Yes. So could you please tell us about tech influencing generally in Nigeria?
So I mean, influencing, I guess, is a good place to start. It's basically using the influence that you have, the followership that you have, to get people to behave a certain way. So that behavior could be buying something. It could be getting to support your thoughts or your view on something, etc. And so it's just that when you say tech influencing, it is the kind of things that you influence people to either buy or appreciate or use or see the way that you see those things. And so it's really about the same things. Like you can influence me, for instance, now to start wearing beads, right?
Wait,
that's
before we even finish, I just want to tell you that I've entered the iPhone gang.
Hey!
I'm no longer on Android.
See, influence.
I'm not on Android. I'm on
influence.
Wait.
There you go.
Wait, I can't
We're not
do
even
this. No,
trying.
I can't even do it properly. Thank you. No,
That is influencing. Very subliminal, very natural. It's not too on the nose, and it's like I use an iPhone, and
it's just because I had Android problems, so I had to switch.
So I think that's really all there is to it. It's just the kind of product that one person is using, and how well it works for them, and how they can also sell their experience to other people and have them buy the exact same thing or use it.
On that note, I think I have an example. So I was scrolling through IG some days back, and I saw a very popular influencer. She was influencing for techno.
Right.
And we know that she does not use techno.
How can you tell?
Because I've seen even
the quality of her stuff.
Yes, of her stuff. And then when she makes like snaps and videos, babe, you're using an iPhone 13 and you're influencing for a techno brand. You're lying to your audience.
Not
because
necessarily.
Really, you're not really using that phone. So telling us that the camera is sharp. Meanwhile, in the end, you're not using it. So why are you lying?
So I mean, I know I definitely understand that from a follower's point of view, right? You are following someone whom has some kind of impact over you, and you're buying decisions, and someone that you admire. And then it's like, this person is trying to sell this thing to me and they're not using it. But the very interesting thing is sometimes some of these people use these things only for the period that they are trying to sell it. So that's why I say, I understand your point with, well, why are you lying to us? But when she's talking about some of the features of this thing that she's using it in that time. It may not be something that she uses every day. It may not be something that she uses every second of the day or anything like that. But it's like, okay, I'm going to pick up this thing, for instance, and I'll talk about it, immediately. And when I'm done, I drop it. So, there's that. And I don't know that people should be faulted for that, really.
I got to be honest, I'm not an influencer.
No, I'm going to fault.
I'm
going to fault.
I'm not an influencer fan, but I have to
would
defend, because I also believe that, okay, so you don't blame the model that you put, when you see the model in the card, in the advert, driving it. you don't necessarily say, it doesn't drive. I know he doesn't drive that car. It doesn't wear that.
Yeah.
But,
it's a marketing. It's a marketing.
Yeah.
It's
and
a marketing.
And there's actually a very famous one I remember of. I think Oprah. Sent in a message out about the Microsoft Surface.
Right.
And it was sent from my iPhone. Or sent from my iPad.
Yeah.
And everybody on Twitter went mad about it. But it was like, and interesting was that Microsoft didn't ask her to take it down.
Oh, interesting.
Because it is true. It's what you said. In
the past, we've also seen Samsung tweets, right? And when you check it on Twitter, it shows, tweeted on an iPhone. There are those challenges. But I think with influencing, but again, it goes to even the kind of detail that people need to pay. People need to pay attention to when they are influencing. It's got to be 360. So while I know that for some people, they don't use these things every day, but I think that it's also a responsibility of an influencer to have that 360 experience that they're sharing to their followers, where it doesn't come across as you lying.
Okay. So are you an influencer?
Am I an influencer? I mean, agencies reach out to me and say, a brand is working on X, we need X. So if that's the dictionary definition of an influencer, well, by all means, yes.
So what does it take to be a tech influencer in Nigeria?
I think that in a sense, a few things have changed. Back in the day, there was the focus on how many followers one had was the primary prerequisites. It's like how many people are following you. Slowly and steadily, I think brands are beginning to realize that because somebody has a ton of followers doesn't necessarily mean that there will be conversion, right? Yeah. So it is, if this person has 15 followers, for instance, and these actual 15 followers are people who are following this person because of this thing, there is every likelihood that we will get some engagement from those 15 people. But that's not to say that follower number count is not important. It still is important. You've got to have, I think, the base is like 10,000 followers.
Okay.
On whether Instagram or Twitter, and of course number of subscribers on YouTube, depending on the platform that a brand is reaching out to you to influence on, and of course ensuring that people on your pages also interact with you. So if you go to any influencers page, for instance, when you check the comment section, there is activity going on there. When people are commenting, the influencer is replying their comments, and there's that conversation that's going on in there. What that does is it encourages people to keep on commenting and engaging on that post, because the insights on that post are what the agency will use to say this was a successful influencer campaign, this was a successful deal that we struck with this influencer. So how many followers, how many likes did you get, how many comments did you get, how much reach did this post garner, right? How many people was it able to get to? And someone reached out to me recently and said, we're looking for someone with just a 1% engagement rate. Like, it doesn't have to be like so high, just 1%. Because I think that, again, agencies are being honest with themselves, because of course now you have digital marketers in agencies, and they see that conversion is not the easiest thing on social media. It really isn't. So in a sense, it is going slightly away from actual conversion to just talkability, right? And exposure. How much social currency can we get? We may not necessarily have everybody say, because Bella Rose influenced a Samsung phone, we are all going to buy a Samsung phone. But what it does is, if somebody goes out to a Samsung store and wants to buy a phone, for instance, and perhaps Bella influenced an S22 Ultra, it's like, I don't have money for S22 Ultra, but when I watched that review, it was so nice. This is my future phone. But for now, I'll just relax for an S10. So it's that talkability. It's like, okay, it's already in their minds. They're already thinking about it. You have made an impression on them. So like, that's the actual impression that some of the things that you influence, that's the kind of impression that it makes. It just is in their heads, and they may not convert immediately to sales or anything like that, but it definitely is in their minds. So I think primarily that's what it's about right now.
How long is it taken? I mean, okay, pride aside and what you call it, egos, and just humility, or being humble being aside. Okay, you're an influencer. How long did it take to get here?
I never imagined that I'll be an influencer. It was never a thing. For some people, I think for Gen Zers now, it's like, I want to be an influencer. That's an actual career goal for some people. It was never one for me. I did start off as just being a broadcaster. So it was just about broadcasting and just doing my thing. And so we kicked off with gadget reviews about a decade ago now. And it was just that. It was nothing about even necessarily influencing people to buy certain devices. It was just impact. What impact are we, looking to make on people, right? Of course, a number of the founders at Tech City was their goal to make sure that people were able to use their gadgets the way an actual tech nerd, would use theirs, right? And so it's, how do we get them to do that? Let's break down the information. Tech is very verbose, it's technical, the lingo is also a bit complex. So how do we break that down for people to understand that with your phone, you can record a beautiful video and, it could do great numbers. You can edit stuff on your smartphone without needing to wait until you're able to afford Kelechi Amadiobi or, Green Street Media to do something. You can do these things on your smartphone. And so that was really it. And so the thing is, for me, it started out as just using my broadcasting skill, right? And then marrying that with people who just wanted to help people with how they handle their smartphones. That was it. And so as time went on, people began to see value in that. And that's my point with, it may not necessarily be about the numbers or your followers or whatever. It's about, okay, are people actually using the information that this person is bringing to the table? And that was it for us. It's like, okay, people are actually watching this and they're maybe asking questions and they're seeing reason why I should go watch a smartphone review before I buy that smartphone. And so it started from there. It didn't even start from a brand coming to say, okay, come and influence for us. It was more like, we like what you're doing. We want you on our platform, right? So it started with us doing a very random Samsung video, and then Samsung themselves said, we'll take this video and we'll put it at our launch. So it was us starting from, how they say if you want to build a house, start from the foundation. We did start with the foundation, but then we went skyscraper mode immediately, right? And it was really a great experience, to be honest, because it didn't start with just, let us see how many people can answer us, but we were able to get that attention very early on from the guys at the top. Yeah. And so it felt like they were the ones endorsing us and not otherwise, which is, in a sense, how endorsements kind of, would work. And that was really, what it was. And then follower numbers started becoming a thing. It was like, okay, so how many people are watching this? What are the insights looking like? What are we seeing in the back end? And then, of course, the more you do that, it's more like, okay, people are seeing you as perhaps an authority in this, and then your follower number is increasing, and people are saying, okay, your numbers are increasing. Okay, what can we do? How can we engage these people more? So it's like, because the person's numbers are increasing, not necessarily because they are influencers or anything, but they are doing what they are doing well. It's like, let us make use of the numbers that you have. And so it's like, let us make you an influencer for us. Let us do this, let us do that. So that's really how it happened. It started from just doing what you like to do, and then people are saying, you know what, you have good numbers. How about we do X and how about we do Y? And that's really how, everything
All right, so
went.
Being long in this space, what are the good and the bad parts of influencing?
So I think that influencing is an interesting thing, but the metrics are vanity metrics. Vanity metrics. So it's about how many followers you have. Okay. And so I'll start with the cons first.
Sorry to interrupt. Have you ever been tempted, based on that vanity thing, to buy?
Never.
Okay.
Thankfully, never. And that's because I have seen how badly it turns out for people. I have seen it from the get-go. You buy followers, and it's awful because when you buy followers, these are bots, fake accounts, etc. Your comment section is just spam. It's nothing. It's terrible. It's spam. And I think that, again, because these platforms are beginning to see how it's affecting the actual engagement on their platforms, they're now beginning to, fight against some of these things. And so somebody can buy followers now and they have like 100,000 followers. But when you check their comment section, you see like maybe 8 comments. And some of those 8 comments is just something random that is not related to what they posted at all. So it's never a good idea. People have even, in fact, approached me. Funny thing, I have gotten approached a number of times and people have said, let's buy it for us. I'm like, I don't want to. I can't even stress, like, they don't even like Wahala. And then there are issues with people's accounts being hacked and all. I'm like, see, anything that will affect my organic numbers, I'm not interested. But I have seen people do that. But again, for some, like, what's it called now? For company accounts, people sometimes do that because it sort of makes people want to follow them more.
Yeah. No, I mean, what do you call it? The reason why I ask, and it's that sort of, we manage a few brands.
Yeah, and so brands want to do that.
But the pressure is, and we've always fought against it.
Yeah.
Because
so
on
the brand
we do follow campaigns. I mean, I won't pretend it.
I mean,
because the the platforms allow you to advertise,
Yes.
people to follow you.
Exactly.
But those are people following you. That's a campaign that you paid for, and you see the numbers.
But the thing is, with regards to even buying followers, particularly for brands, right? And that's why brands also need to do better with even how they do stuff on social media, right? Because again, with this whole buying thing, it is almost like a lie you need to keep telling. You can't just buy once and that's it. For some people, and because Instagram and I think Twitter at some point, they went and they raided people's accounts of fake followers.
Facebook's still doing it.
Facebook, so you have to keep doing that. And I don't know that it makes any sense to continue doing that. What I think it did for some brands who did buy followers was it helped them make their customer base look, large. And then when people see this, like, oh, these guys are actually cool, let me follow. And then after a while, you are able to see that you are actually growing because the fake accounts are dropping. When these platforms are reading accounts of their fake numbers, your number still looks healthy because these are the actual people who follow you for what you do. So for some people who are doing that because they want to sort of build over time, I don't know that it's a bad idea. But if it's something that you need to keep doing, that's a problem.
It is.
It's a problem.
So I interrupted. Take you back to the cons.
So the cons.
Yes.
The cons of it is the vanity metrics, right? People are feeling intimidated by maybe followers in the same industry, having more followers than them, or maybe even engagement, etc. There's that pressure to just it's just a feeling thing, It's like, oh, how come my numbers are not growing as fast as this other person's followers? How come I'm not having this much engagement, etc. And of course, brands will tell you that we are only doing influencer campaigns with people who have maybe at least 30K followers, or people whose cross-platform follower number is 100,000. So you have people sometimes doctoring even numbers. For instance, they say, "Oh, I have X number of followers on TikTok," or all of those things. So there's that pressure that it puts on you. What's the other con? I think that's, in my opinion, I think that's the only one. Again, maybe personally, what I have also seen is sometimes brands really want to pay money for some influencing, and some of the brand values don't align with my personal values. And so I've had to say no to some. It's tough, but I think that's a very personal thing for someone. If you're okay with it, like I can't influence for an alcoholic brand, for instance.
I like you.
It's tough, but to be honest, it's really tough.
It
takes a lot, but I've also observed that when you say yes to one, and it's an agency, you run an agency, you know how these things happen, then it's like your name just gets into that pool, and it's like, we need somebody for this, and they'll put you, and it's like, I just wanted to do just one. I don't want, it gets very odd. So it's better to just say no from the get-go, so you're able to sort that out. But yeah, that's the thing, and because sometimes these brands are those that pay more. It's so odd. And another con is sometimes you feel like, I'm looking at this brand now, I don't know that they will really have money like that, so let me give them a different rate, and I've been another brand. And then you give them, and they don't complain. You tell them, okay, I want to influence for, let's say, 400K, and they're like, okay, send us your invoice. You're like, oh my goodness, why did I say that? I should ask for more. That happens a lot because I don't know, I don't have my business acumen, to be honest, but I'm always like, no, why did I say that? I should have asked for more. They can't afford it. They don't even negotiate. So there's that as well. If you want to go into influencing, make sure you have a strong business acumen or have somebody who's going to help you run those numbers. But the cons of it is, I think that for brands who are looking for people with real organic followers, right, the connection is there. You are able to further enforce your values and the things that you actually personally like with people. I think also the con of influencing is, the pro of influencing, which is both a pro and a discipline thing, is consistency. A lot of brands are looking for consistent people who are consistent content creators and all of that. And so if you're not very consistent, it can affect you. I can say, that it has affected me. Right, because I do a lot of things, and so it affects my productivity in some areas. And so sometimes I had somebody call me and I was asking, why don't you post X, Y, and Z thing that you do on your social media? And I was like, I don't have a reason. She's like, you should, because she was asking for examples of things that I have done before that she can show her team. And so I had to go and start searching for some of these things, like from other pages, and she was like, you should have this thing on your own page, please. So I think it helps with being consistent. It helps you with being a lot more productive. It helps with the creative process as well. And of course, it builds your accounts, you know. You're able to make some money.
Yeah,
and
bank account,
you
not
can,
just,
your
not
bank
just,
account.
That's the way it helps
Exactly.
to build.
Bank accounts and your
That's the way it
profile,
helps to
your
build.
social account as well. It
Yeah.
does. It gives you exposure. It gives you exposure. I know that a lot of foreign brands also just send emails and they're like, you know, would like to do stuff. Would you be interested? Please send us an email. So there's that international exposure that it gives.
All right, thank you very much, Bella. So if you want to go into tech influencing, Auntie Bella, I've tell you everything that you need to hear. But if you feel like you have coconut head, you want to buy followers, you're on your own. Anyways, I hope you guys had a good listen. Don't forget
I can't finish. I've got more.
Sorry.
Please. I have to ask. I mean, okay. Alrighty. Have you been recognized? Have you had a celebrity moment when you've been going out or something and someone stopped you?
And it's odd because I don't know why I'm not used to it.
Okay. Have you ever signed an autograph?
Yes, I have. Oh, let me tell you this one. Okay. So I went to, I don't want to say the agency, it's a government agency. I went there for something. And then this lady, you know, hears that I'm in her office and her colleague, no, she didn't even know. Her colleague just called somebody else who would help me with what I went there for. And then she came with the guy. So she walks and they're just and she's like, is that Bella Rose? I said, yes. She started crying.
No.
Listen, I was like, I said, no, I'm blown. Michael Jackson moment. She was in tears. She was crying. She was like, oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. I was like,
okay, Bella, breathe.
And it was odd because it wasn't on camera. And I was like, oh my goodness, I wish I was recording this. But it would have been very somehow. She was in tears. She was all over me. She was asking, can we please take a picture? She took pictures. She would not let me go.
Sorry, I got to ask, how old was she? Was she older than? Older
than me. She's like maybe in her mid-30s.
Yeah, that's old.
Wow. That's old, right? Yeah. She was in tears, literal tears. Some other person in that same office saw me, and I could tell that she recognized me, but she was, I think, busy. And then the following day or so, she sends me a message on Instagram. She's like, Bella, I saw you in my office yesterday. I was so shy to come and say hello to you. Oh my goodness, it was nice. So I've had those moments. I have tons of them. Another one, I went on a date with someone, and then we were supposed to sit somewhere. The waiter was clearing the place for us, so we were waiting, standing, and then some guy and his girlfriend just come and they sit down there. So my date is like, so I said, let's just go elsewhere, let's just sit down there. So we go somewhere else, we sit down, eat, we're done. The following day, somebody sends me a DM on Instagram. Hi, Bella, I'm so sorry. It was me and my guy that we were at the place yesterday. I apologize for I say, hey, thank you, Jesus, that my date did not go and start fighting. But she didn't say anything at all. She's like, oh my goodness, I recognized you and thank you for being so calm about it. I'm so sorry. You know, so yeah, there are those moments and they're very interesting. Okay. I promise.
Does it affect, does it intimidate guys? Because just mentioning dates, does it intimidate them? Or do you find, because there's the famous one about one of the actors who says, you know, they go to bed with A and they wake up with B because they go to bed with this idea.
Yeah,
and they wake up with me as
the
real person.
Yeah.
The guy.
I'm thankful that I have not been with many people who feel intimidated. Okay. I have had one or two experiences with the guys who are just like, but you know, the ones who have made more impact in my life and who have been existing in my life for long enough have not been intimidated. In fact, they're like so cool with it. It's like, oh my goodness, look at you. You know, so yeah, I thrive on that kind of energy and I'm thankful that that's, you know, the kind of space that I'm in even now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have more, but I'm being kicked.
I know.
So I'll stop. We'll do a part two. Where I will ask the question. Yeah, no problem.
Are you being jealous?
Yeah.
Are you being jealous?
It's okay.
Anyways, thank you guys for listening. I hope you had a good time. We sure did have a good time here. Don't forget to follow us, our social media pages, and drop your comments, like, and subscribe. Thank you, guys.
We're even on LinkedIn. I remember this time.
Nice.
I remember this time. Yeah.
Someone asked for a LinkedIn rate.
A big.
A LinkedIn rate. Like, let me know how much you influence on LinkedIn. I'm like, LinkedIn? You people.
Okay. No. Okay, then last question. How do you decide your rate?
So sometimes, and this is the thing with me not being the most business savvy, sometimes I judge based on the brand that's reaching out to me.
Yeah, but still, how do you know? I mean, how do you know that it's...
So there's a base. There's a base that I'm not going lower than.
And you find that based on benchmarking or what, or just because that's what you think?
It's just what I think I should charge. When I sometimes compare, again, my followers and the engagement that I get with, I guess, other people's.
Okay.
So I'm just like, okay, I think this is fair.
Okay. So you people talk.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, damn.
Some grant interviews and say how much they earn.
Damn.
What?
Okay, so we can't treat you as agencies.
No.
Okay. All right, we'll do that another day. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So, bye, guys. Thank you.
For
very
real
much.
now.
Yeah, for real now.
Yeah.
Bye, guys. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.